There is a forest in the continent Combe, where lie year, herbs, arbs, arpalisks, shedlocks, jangurus, red foxes, dryads, and many other animals and creatures of nature. It is a sacred forest in which Dodrin built the kingdom of Deadstone. This is the lore of the Great Forest. Not to be confused with the Great Forest of Edan, the Great Forest is a large land region that has trees which look almost regular, brown bark and green leaves, aside from their extremely tall height. The leaves of the trees mostly cover the sky above, although sunlight still manages to escape through and onto the forest ground during the day. These rays of light combine with the faint green hue that lingers in the air in the all-tree covered areas of the forest, though the green hue becomes most prominent at night. In the Great Forest, the wind uses the leaves to whistle songs to travelers, and it blows the browning leaves on the ground away from a traveler's foot in every single step. The Great Forest was once part of the Forest of Edan, though the breaking and shifting of the continents caused it to move away from Edan, as one with the continent Combe. This movement revealed devastating to the Forest of Edan, in that the Great Forest was the primary life-giver of the ancient region, containing the very garden that began Edan's growth, when an original planted sacred life long ago. Because of the loss of the rest of its children, the Great Forest is heavily protective of every plant in its area, and it becomes violent when intruders damage or threaten its nature within. For this reason, many of the people who travel this forest claim that it is living, alive, for it will interact with travelers and harm those unwelcome. In the Teldrian era, Dodrin settlers entered the Great Forest in hopes of finding new land to live off. Little to their knowledge, the Great Forest was watching them, and once they had traveled toward the center, it trapped the settlers inside with intent to kill them. The settlers, however, pleaded with the forest and called upon God's mercy. Remus and the gods of Re heard their cries and prevented their unwarranted slaughter. After mediation with the Dodrin and with nature, the gods managed to spark an agreement with the two forces. The Dodrin had to promise not to bring any harm upon the nature of the Great Forest, and could only build structures within the forest provided that the forest gave consent. When constructing buildings within the Great Forest, they had to preserve the nature around which they constructed. If they made these promises, then the forest would allow them to live in its area, and the forest would help them when they needed to ward off enemies. After the agreement had been sealed in the heavens, the Dodrin existed peacefully in the Great Forest, and they managed to prosper. As centuries passed, the Dodrin established the Kingdom of Deadstone, constructing a large city in a wide clearing toward the forest center. Enemies of Deadstone were hesitant to attack the city, as they were afraid of entering the Great Forest due to its living nature. This provided Deadstone an unshakable advantage in every war they fought. In 610 TE, however, a great attack came upon Deadstone. An army entered the Great Forest forcefully, when neither the forest nor the people of Deadstone expected. The Gurden army, led by Tuluk Gurden, brought death and destruction in its path. The story of the Gurden army's conquest is recorded in The Prophecy of Spellborn of the Great Book of God, the Epics of Uruk. Thank you guys for watching another installment of Uruk lore. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you haven't yet, you can buy The Prophecy of Spellborn, A Harlot and a Hero on Amazon, on Barnes & Nobles, and many other vendors. And as I said in previous videos, the book is able to be rated as well on Goodreads and Amazon primarily, but other sites as well. And I really urge that you guys at least go on Amazon to leave a review, but if you could leave a review on Goodreads as well, I'd really appreciate it. And if not a review, at least a rating. The ratings help as well, and I definitely like your guys' feedback. Otherwise, I hope the beginning of spring goes wonderfully for you guys, and I will see you in another video.